Alexander stood at the edge of a land he had never imagined would test him more than Persia ever did. India, which the Greeks called Indicae, was not a single kingdom, but a vast mosaic of tribes, mountain peoples, warrior clans, and wealthy cities built along rivers older than Greek memory itself. Every scout who returned brought tales that sounded like exaggeration, yet each story pointed to the same truth. This was not going to be a simple conquest. By the time Alexander crossed the Hindu Kush with his hardened veterans, his army was tired, truly tired, not breakable, but worn in a way even he could not ignore. These men had followed him for nearly a decade across deserts, mountains, and brutal war after brutal war. They had witnessed the fall of Tyre, the burning of Persepolis, the madness in Sogdiana, the endless sand of the Gedrosian Peril, and the exhaustion of fighting an empire that simply refused to die. Now, as the first monsoon clouds gathered on the horizon like dark giants, Alexander knew the campaign ahead would not only be against enemies, but against nature itself. The first problem was political. The region just west of the Hydaspes River was ruled by a collection of local kings who had complicated, shifting alliances. Some were eager to support Alexander, hoping to use him as a weapon against their rivals. Others considered him a foreign invader, no different than the Persians before him. Among them, one name rose again and again: Porus, a king of enormous stature, not only physically but strategically. His domain across the Hydaspes was rumored to be protected by thousands of soldiers, chariots with blades like wings, cavalry trained for river battles, and most shocking of all, war elephants. To the Greeks, an elephant wasn't just a threat, it was a living monster. Even before reaching Porus, Alexander faced the fierce tribes of the Aspasioi and the Asakanoi. These mountain warriors refused surrender. They defended their stone fortresses with a fury that impressed even Alexander. The fighting was brutal. Women joined the battles, hurling stones from rooftops. Warriors leapt from cliffs rather than be captured. One city, Massaga, became a turning point. Alexander was wounded there, and for days he was carried in a stretcher, issuing commands with eyes burning from fever. But if the tribes were fierce, Alexander was relentless. When his men hesitated to climb the final fortified hill of Aornos, a towering rock believed to be unconquerable, so much that even Heracles had supposedly failed, Alexander personally led the charge. Under hailstorms of arrows, under rolling boulders, under screams echoing across cliffs, Alexander's men fought like a force possessed. At the summit, bloodied but unbroken, Alexander raised his spear toward the sky and declared, "The unconquered has been conquered." The message spread like wildfire across the region. Not even the mountain gods could save a fortress from Alexander. But the celebration was short-lived. The march ahead was harsher. Thick forests, flooded paths, insects biting the soldiers' skin raw, monsoon rain turning roads into rivers. Here, Alexander faced a new battlefield: frustration. His soldiers complained openly. They questioned the point of endless conquest. They asked why they couldn't turn back and enjoy the treasures they had already won. Rumors ran through the camps. Some said India was endless. Some said Porus commanded 50 elephants. Some said 500. Some claimed entire armies of elephant cavalry waited across the Hydaspes. To a Greek soldier, an elephant was as terrifying as a siege tower made of living flesh. Alexander listened to every whisper, and every whisper fueled him, because deep inside, part of him feared time itself. He was no longer the young prince who first rode from Pella. He had survived too much. He had seen loyalty shatter, friends die, and darkness swallow even the brightest commanders. He had looked in the mirror and seen a face harder than bronze, eyes clouded by destiny. He did not say it aloud, but he knew he was racing against mortality. Only a legacy stretching across the world could defeat time. The march towards Porus continued. At Taxila, one of the largest and most sophisticated cities Alexander had ever seen, King Ambi welcomed him with open arms. Ambi offered soldiers, gold, elephants, and strategic guidance. He warned Alexander, "Porus is not like the others. He fights not for land, but for honor." This impressed Alexander even more. To him, an enemy driven by honor was worth defeating. Days turned into weeks as Alexander prepared for the greatest river crossing of his career. The Hydaspes was a monster of a river, wild, fast, and wide. Porus had stationed his army along the opposite bank, ready to crush the Macedonians if they attempted a direct crossing. Alexander realized something. For the first time in years, the enemy held the stronger position. So he turned to deception. Every night, he made his troops strike camp loudly, marching up and down the river to confuse Porus. Porus watched, always ready, always adjusting his position, but little did he know, Alexander never repeated the same trick twice. On stormy nights, Alexander sent small detachments to feint crossings. On clear nights, he launched fires along the bank, making Porus believe a major assault was coming. Porus could not sleep. He could not predict. He could not move his elephants because the muddy riverbanks made them unstable. Alexander was wearing him down without a single blow. Then, one night, under the roar of a thunderstorm, Alexander silently led a select force upstream, hiding behind a cluster of islands. The river was violent, the boats nearly capsizing, but Alexander refused to turn back. When they reached the opposite shore, lightning revealed a group of Indian scouts waiting. A small skirmish erupted, exposing the landing point, but Alexander's shock troops quickly overwhelmed them. Now the real battle was coming. The Battle of the Hydaspes, one of the most dramatic in ancient history, was only hours away. Across the muddy plains, Porus assembled his elephants in a long line, massive beasts armored for war, carrying towers on their backs with archers ready to rain death on the Macedonians. The sight alone shook even Alexander's hardened veterans. Alexander rode along his line, raising his spear. "This is the day we make the world remember us, and this river shall witness our glory." The soldiers cheered, tired, scared, but transformed by his voice. In the distance, Porus lifted his own spear, a man over 7 feet tall, mounted on an elephant like a living king of giants. Two worlds were about to collide, and the fate of Alexander's eastern dream would be decided in a single battle. To be continued in Part 21.